and it was an event. It took
Happened
place today.
just hours ago. As of this recording.
And we are still blown away by what we found out.
Not actually. It was actually pretty lame.
Yeah. As a PlayStation 4
It wasn't that it
owner
was
now.
lame. It was just super unimpressive. I mean, there just wasn't a whole lot to it.
Yeah. As a recent PlayStation 4 owner now, I guess, I was actually excited to finally watch one of these PlayStation events and have it be something that I could be interested in. And then I just wasn't that much.
I was hoping there was going to be more to it other than, things we basically already knew.
Mm-hmm.
But there wasn't.
No, I mean, they did finally announce the Ps4 Slim. That's not
which we already knew
called
about.
the Slim.
It's just the new PS4.
It's the new PS4.
That's just the new refreshed model.
Yeah.
That
They do
as
all the
the
time.
current stock's leaving, this will be what if someone goes, hey, I want to buy a PS4. This is what they'll pick up. It's just a slimmer model, same everything, basically same design, and everything just takes up less room.
Yeah, and there's no optical drive or no optical port.
Optical port for audio.
Port. Yeah, which I mean that doesn't affect me.
Yeah, I don't use optical.
So
HDMI. So.
Yeah, that doesn't bother me. But then they did announce.
Well, they announced one other thing first.
What? Go.
The all PS4 models are going to get the HDR
yes
update. So there's going to be an update that goes out for all PS4 models. The PS4 doesn't have an HDMI 2 port on it, but with HDMI, all you need is an HDMI 2 cord for that to work. So that's kind of a cool feature. That's something that Microsoft's like, well, with our Xbox One S, this new Xbox, you can have HDR. For the PS4, all PS4s have HDR once this update rolls out, which is really cool. That's definitely one thing that they got up on Xbox.
Yeah.
But then the big announcement is something that I think Xbox is going to do better.
Yeah. So we got info on the PS4 Neo.
Yep.
Which unfortunately is not still named Neo.
Yeah, it's going to be called the Ps4 Pro, which totally makes sense. Yep. Your mom goes to the store and they're like, "Hey, I want a PS4 for my kid." Well, do you want the PS4 or do you want a Ps4 Pro edition? Mm-hmm. So that's basically, that makes sense. If they were like PS4 Neo, well, what's a Neo? Well, they have to go into it. But if you put a word like Pro behind it, you kind of get that feeling, oh, this is probably an upgraded version. Yeah. I think that makes sense.
Yeah, does my 8-year-old kid really need a Pro?
And no,
probably not.
They do not.
Probably not.
They don't need a Pro because you probably don't have a 4K TV. Mm-hmm. Although it looks like that the PS4 Pro doesn't actually do 4K natively. It just up-reses it. And then it's also up to the developer if they do 4K or they just use the innards to make the game run better frame rate. It doesn't...
It's kind of disappointing.
The Xbox One S was not much of an upgrade. It had HDR, and it's like, I think it had 7% overall.
Yeah. And it's a nice looking console now.
But the Xbox One S is much more like the Xbox or the PlayStation Slim.
Yeah.
They were just basically console refreshes.
Yep.
The Scorpio that's been announced is going to be more powerful than this PS4 Pro. And it's going to have a Blu-ray optical disc or a Blu-ray 4K optical disc when PS4 Pro's not going to support 4K Blu-rays. Yeah. So what's the point? So the only 4K content you can get is games, which are up-res, and
YouTube
digital.
And Netflix. Yeah. YouTube and Netflix.
So I have to use my bandwidth to download something 4K on Netflix and hope that it streams well enough.
Yeah.
Which, if I had my TV hooked or my PS4 hooked up into the router with a cord,
router.
it would. But using Wi-Fi, I don't see that happening.
Probably not going to stream at 4K through Wi-Fi.
So...
Especially at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Why? Why would you not include the actual optical disc?
That is a good question.
Or the optical drive?
That's a good question. I don't know unless they're planning something else.
I don't see who this is for.
No.
And with the Scorpio already announced for next Christmas or next holiday season,
yeah.
At that point, unless PlayStation comes out with a Pro 2 next year, that's more powerful, you're going to be able to... The Xbox is going to be able to say, we have the most powerful console. We have the only console who does 4K natively.
Yeah. Be like, oh, you have a 4K Blu-ray? You can watch it on Xbox.
Yeah, there's going... Next holiday season, there's going to be one 4K console. And it's going to be the Xbox Scorpio, whatever it's called.
Yeah. Which would be cool if they kept the Scorpio.
Yeah. I mean, I like that the PlayStation, it's not segmenting the user base.
Yeah.
That, we're going to be able to play the same games no matter which PlayStation you own. It's just if you own a PlayStation Pro, they're going to look a little better.
A little bit better, yeah. Unless, you just have 1080p TV anyway.
Well, but it'll still look better.
Yeah.
It'll still look better because they can have that be processing, at a better frame rate instead of, which is the same thing that the Xbox One S does.
Yeah.
Is that those games that you don't have it to 4K TV, they run like 7% better.
Yeah.
So the PlayStation Pro just seems like it's a step above like an Xbox One S.
Yeah.
But nowhere near what the Xbox Scorpio is going to be.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. And then it comes out in November.
Yeah, so you have the PlayStation Slim basically next week.
The 15th.
Then you have PlayStation VR in October. And then PlayStation Pro in November.
Yeah.
So if you want to buy both two new PlayStation devices, you're going to be in the whole, I don't even remember how much PSVR is, but you're going to be in the whole $700 probably.
Yeah, yeah.
After all is said and done. For the PSVR and a PlayStation Pro.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they did say that PSVR is going to look better on PlayStation Pro.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Because do you need a separate box or something for not a PS Pro? PS4
no, you
Pro?
need the box. The PSVR has a processing box attached to it. So the PlayStation 4 doesn't actually... I don't think it actually does a whole lot of the heavy lifting for it. Because then you would basically be saying, hey, you need to be able to create this game at a good frame rate and good graphics for two devices, because each eye is its own TV.
Yeah.
So it actually has a box that it goes into, which I think from what I've seen, it's a large box.
Nice.
It's almost a PS4 size box.
That's exciting.
Yeah, see? That's the box.
Good lambs.
I think. Or no, that's the processing box. So it's not quite a PS4 size. It's much smaller than that, I guess. But it's still it's a larger box. Yeah. Like an Apple TV.
Okay.
That actually does a lot of the processing for it.
Alright.
But, I don't know. I think the announcement one was really subdued and lame. But I think they really missed the mark.
They did.
Because it's not... Once the Scorpio releases next year, Xbox has the much more power. Xbox One and PS4. PS4 was technically a little more powerful, but they're basically on the same page.
Yeah.
Xbox Scorpio sounds like it's going to be the next thing, and it's going to be more powerful than PS4. So what are they going to do? Release another PS4 next year? Or are they going to do... Are they just going to switch off every other year? Like 2017 is going to be Xbox One Scorpio, and 2018 is going to be the PS4 Pro.
Jeez. And PlayStation's just going to sit back and be like, okay, you can have this year.
Well, and they got the install base in their announcement. They even said, hey, we've got 40 million PS4s sold, which is huge. Xbox, we don't know because their numbers were so bad they stopped announcing how many Xbox Ones they were selling.
Yep.
But, I don't know. If that Xbox One Scorpio comes in at a good price, if it's also, say, $400, then you're going to see a world where that is going to be the option people are taking. Now, if this Xbox One Scorpio is so much better that they're like, well, this is only for the most the hardcore players and it's going to be $600, then who cares?
Yeah.
No one's going to buy it.
Isn't that what the PlayStation 3
Just like the
was?
PS3 did. They're like, hey, this is $600 and you're going to have to go get a second job to buy it.
Yeah.
No one's going to buy it.
Xbox 360 was like, hey, we're $300. Come on over this way.
And I honestly don't care because, we've been talking about it. We watched a video on Gears of War 4 earlier, and it looks amazing. It makes us both want an Xbox One now. I'm not paying $500 for the 2 terabyte Xbox One S.
I'm going to buy a used VCR Xbox.
Yeah. I'm going to go buy, they're probably $175 now.
Yeah. I can afford that.
So,
sometime.
I don't know. I think this announcement was really lame and totally missed the mark.
Yeah.
They did show some new Horizon Zero Dawn footage, which looks absolutely amazing.
Yep.
And they showed some Mass Effect Andromeda stuff, which made me not care about Mass Effect Andromeda.
Just kind of, as someone who has not played the Mass Effect games, I looked at that like, big freaking deal.
Yeah.
Like, what they showed in that demo was
uninspiring.
Yeah, it was just like, okay, it's somebody walking. Oh, a jetpack. Okay.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is, like, we're watching on a 1080 TV on a 720 stream of this stuff.
That's
so
4K.
You know, maybe if you were there, it was super impressive. I know the guys from the Beastcast were there, so I'm looking forward to their show on Friday to listen to that and see what they say, like it was actually impressive or not.
Yeah.
Because I was not impressed.
No, I mean, it's when they're trying to show off 4K and it is a 720 stream on a 1080 TV.
I don't care.
You're not going to see anything.
Yeah. So it was a real letdown. I actually enjoyed the Nintendo Direct a lot more.
It was a good one.
Yeah.